Hello, Oracles. Well, Tesla stock will never be the same again. Looking at where we're headed right now, we did get a little bit of a green day today. We're still on a downward channel, but looking at where we are going in the future, I don't know how much further down we are going to go. What I do know is that looking ahead past once we hit this bottom, wherever that bottom is, we are going to be coming into a place where we have a solid foundation and we will be growing from there in a way that we have never grown before. Prior to this moment right now, we haven't had anything more than at most around that 50% institutional holding level. Now, Tesla has investment grade rating when it comes to the S&P. We are anticipating getting the upgrade from Moody's anytime soon. So, once we do hit this bottom and we do end up coming out of this, we will have a lot of institutional money that has been waiting to get into the stock that will be able to get into it. Right now, we have a lot of emotional trading going on. We have a week right now where there's usually lower volume because of the holidays. We have us losing over 6.5% yesterday, up a little over 1% today. But looking longer term at this, and I say longer term, I'm just talking like 6 to 12 months on this. Once we hit this bottom and we do finally start to turn the economy around, now, of course, that's just a guess. I don't know if that's actually going to happen at that time, but looking at the current numbers that we have, looks like probably around 6 to 12 months we're going to see us turn around. When we do have money coming back into the market, money always comes back into the market. And when that happens, we are going to have a lot more big money coming into Tesla. Now, keep in mind, we're not going to be having this V-shaped recovery that we had back in COVID. It's going to be a slower growth coming into it. So when we do, we're going to have slower money coming in, but it's going to be big money. And that big money is going to lower down the beta. This is something that we talked about with Alexandra on here a while ago about how when you get institutional money coming in, you usually lower the beta. The beta of the stock is the volatility. So right now, the beta of Tesla is around a 2. That means it moves twice as much as the broader market on average. So that means that, let's say the NASDAQ goes up 2%, Tesla would typically go up 4%. So what's going to end up happening when we do come out of this and we get all of this big money coming in, we have more institutional holding, that's going to drop the volatility of the stock significantly. That in turn is going to bring in even more institutional money. This is where we see the blue chip stocks. This is where we see the Microsofts, the Apples. We see these big companies out there right now who in times like this don't usually move nearly as much as the rest of the market just because of the fact that they have a lot of institutional holders. Institutional holders typically just buy and hold. They hold for a long term. They find these very solid companies that don't move a lot. They see a great future with them. It's a good place to put their money. So that's a lot of times what we see from institutions. Now that Tesla has that investment grade rating, we are going to see this. And Moody's, I have no doubt, is going to give them that investment grade rating well before we end up hitting that bottom. So again, we don't know where that bottom is. We're most likely going to be seeing it in the next couple of months is my guess, if we have not hit it already, and we will get that Moody's upgrade. Then what's going to end up happening is what we talked about last night. We are going to get that confirmation from Elon that Twitter does not need any more money. He is not going to have to sell any more shares. Then we will have that signal that it is now go time to buy again for all this big money. This is why I'm buying now. I'm not buying heavily at these moments. I'm still holding a good chunk of cash in case we do dip down to that 140 level, which ironically 140 go behind the split, that is going to be 420. I mean, when it comes to the irony of it all, that's what Elon says. The most likely outcome is the most ironic. So that is probably what we are going to end up seeing. And then at that point, we can probably start coming back. Again, I don't know what the future is going to hold. This is just what I'm guessing based upon irony. And so irony is just as good of a way to guess the future as anything else because there really is no way to predict it. So just looking at that alone, when we do pull out of this, we will have a lot more institutional money coming in. I'm adding now because once those institutions come in, they're going to raise the bar and they're going to be setting that new foundation a little bit higher. So this way, every time people want to buy in as retail investors, it's going to be at a higher level. So that is what I'm going to be doing for myself. You guys need to do your own due diligence. This is not financial advice, but I am definitely seeing a brand new Tesla stock coming out of this once we do come out of it. And I think it's going to be trading a lot more like a blue chip stock. We are not going to be having the volatility that we had in the past. We are going to be having some nice, very steady growth. We might actually surge up quite a bit initially just because when the big money does come in, there's going to be a lot of FOMO buying. So there's going to be a lot of retail investors putting some money into it, pushing it higher. Then we're going to have big money who's going to want to jump in sooner as well. So initially, there may still be that volatility, but it's inevitably going to bring that beta down, and we are going to have a very nice, solid growth when it comes to a blue chip stock. And now, before we get too much further into this, I wanted to welcome David Lucas to the channel here as a patron. Welcome, you are the newest patron to the channel. If you guys want to become patrons or members, you can check the link down in the description below. I share lots of good information there, and there will be coming more in the future. There's also discounts on merchandise and all of that goodies down there. But again, I'll be adding a lot more in the future if you guys want to join. And when it comes to the fundamentals of Tesla, when we do end up coming out of this and it trades more like a blue chip stock, we are going to see some strong fundamentals. Currently, we're still facing a lot of noise. We have things like recalls coming out, recalls that are all over the air updates. We still have yet to get that changed. So things come out as recalls, and people still think about recalls as, oh no, there's a major issue with my car. I need to bring it down to the shop. There's going to be a problem. It's not like that anymore. We need to change that whole entire mentality when it comes to recalls. That still needs to get changed. That's going to be putting a better positive spin on Tesla in the future. And this is going to help people realize that, oh, wow, Tesla really separates themselves from everyone else. EVs are significantly better because recalls aren't actually recalls. They're just over-the-air software updates. That's it. We are going to get that knowledge getting passed to a lot more people in the future. And while we've got a lot of people out there who are upset about the fact that Elon is spending so much time focusing on Twitter, he's still out here tweeting about other things. We've got him tweeting here about Starlink, and now it works for high latitudes. We've got it working for all across Alaska and Canada. And yes, we do have him tweeting about Tesla as well. Tesla Megapacks are highly effective in addressing electricity demand spikes that cause power outages. This is in response to BBC Science News saying that Europe's biggest battery storage system switched on. So again, just because we see a lot of things and a lot of noise about Twitter, and yes, Elon has said that he is focusing the lion's share of his attention on Twitter at the moment, it's not that he's not focusing on any other areas of his businesses either. He's still looking at Tesla. He's still looking at SpaceX. And then we've got Gary Black coming out saying that Tesla China doesn't have a demand problem, it has a competition problem in a slowing Chinese economy. Tesla could cut the price in China again to achieve Q4 goals with the 12,000 yuan subsidy that expires on 12/31. This could be a record quarter for Tesla China. So these are things that they could do if they wanted to, but again, it's not really a demand problem when it comes over there. Everybody is facing this. I mean, looking at projections alone, we're looking at for the first 2 months of Q4 at almost 76,000 vehicles getting delivered out of Tesla China. So if this continues to grow, we could see a record quarter coming out of Shanghai, and I highly believe that's going to happen. And we've got Troy Tesla coming out saying that his production estimate for Q4 was 466,000 vehicles on November 15th. And that would mean a 50% annual growth for the full year. Tesla's target is also 50%, so that would be spot on. Currently, my production estimate is 483,000. And his delivery estimates are 420,000, and that would be a 41.9% growth over the full year. And Tesla's target was just under 50% growth, so it's pretty close. But now his estimates, if you can see here, his estimates were 415,000, and a week later went up to 420,000. So this is good news, and this is so long as we see continued growth coming out of China. We saw last week with the insured models being at 13,939, and this week going up to 14,366. So as Alex says, 50,000 seems possible in November. Prior record retail sales in the second month of a quarter was 34,502. This is smashing that record. So then moving up into December, if we continue this growth, again, we can see that record number. So going back to how Tesla stock is never going to be the same again, we are seeing massive growth when it comes to the fundamentals of Tesla. We are seeing a lot of noise right now when it comes to Elon and Twitter and all the different things that are going on. And it's more of almost a lack of noise when it comes to Tesla. I think right now it's we're kind of in breath holding mode because Elon hasn't given us a lot of information. Sure, we got that tweet about Megapacks. We know that he's still focusing on Tesla, but we're not getting that same feedback. And it's kind of like, we've got Tesla bears out there saying that, well, Elon, hypes up the stock too much. He hypes way too much. That's why the stock price was so high. Now we've got a lot of Tesla bulls who want more of that hype. It's like that drug that we are looking forward to bring the stock price back up. Realistically, let's go to what the fundamentals of the company are. The company's growing very well right now. There is no issue with it. As a matter of fact, many can argue that the company is doing very well despite the fact that Elon isn't there focusing his attention on it as much as he did before. That's actually a very good thing for Tesla right now because that means that they don't need him. That key man risk isn't there anymore because Tesla is still firing on all cylinders without him driving the ship. So, seeing as we are moving in this direction without Elon, as good as it is, when he does come back and focus his attention and really start to give us that information again with the Cybertruck coming out, we've got the semi-truck delivery coming next week, we've got the Roadster coming out next year. All of these awesome things are going to just push the stock that much higher. Think about what we can see in the time frame between now and the time that the entire economy turns around. We could have the first Cybertruck deliveries out. We could have more information on the 4680s getting ramped. We could have FSD even closer to being solved. We could have Optimus maybe even getting produced. All of these things actually coming to fruition at the same time that the economy is turning around. Now it's not going to be hype that is driving the stock price up. It is going to be reality because a lot of the things that were spoken about previously are now going to be real. We are going to be seeing energy numbers climbing as well. So now when institutions are starting to buy in, they're not buying into hype. They're buying into reality. This is the massive change we are going to be seeing in the future when it comes to Tesla stock. So brace yourselves. This might be the last little bit of crazy volatility that we see when it comes to Tesla stock. So for those of you who are out there and love to play the options game because it's such a volatile stock, that might be going away. We may be trading a lot more like the Apples and the Microsofts of the world with a nice solid growth push, but that push is going to be a lot stronger because when you base it strictly on all of the numbers that Tesla is bringing in when it comes to free cash flow and earnings, those earnings are going to be growing significantly more than what we see from the Apples and Microsofts right now. So we are going to see the price push up a lot higher in a stronger manner, not just based on hype, but based on reality. So you guys can let me know in the comments below, when do you think we're going to see this turnaround? And do you think we are going to be seeing all this big money come in? Alexandra and I had talked about it in the past. We were talking about how it's going to take 6 to 12 months before all of this happens. And of course, we know they're going to be waiting for when Elon confirms that he is done selling. So you guys can let me know when you think we are going to see this push with institutional money coming back in. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, we do have that membership program and that Patreon. Those links, again, are also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.